Welcome back, everyone. So, as promised, between last episode and this, I went out and got a bunch of birch saplings. Well, I got 2 and left them in my farm overnight, so now we have many more. And in fact, I planted my farm so that I would get many more of every kind of sapling. So that's what we've got. I also, and just recalled, I will need 4 glass panes. I started laying out this hallway and how we are going to get to our witchery area. So we can come out here and come down to our witchery area, which I've cleaned up a little bit. I have moved the witch's oven over here. You can see I've also laid out a pattern here on the ground with this black granite. This is where our ritual circles will go, and I just needed to place that to make sure I would have enough room here. We are just cutting it. We just barely have the room we need, but that's okay. We will make do. And the other thing I did that you can't see unless I pull out my wrench is I ran ME conduit over along this wall. So we will be able to automate some things. I have also used the fumes that I gathered using my witch's oven to make a bunch of different items that are going to be necessary for progressing in witchery. And so let's set those up now. The first one we're going to set up is the kettle. So the kettle is what's going to allow us to make special witchery potions, which is cool. And it is actually going to have probably the most involved setup of any of these things we're going to make now, because it requires fire underneath it. So what I'm going to do is plant the netherrack there, and then put the kettle right there. And we'll light the netherrack, and that will be the fire. I think it's a neat little oven. I may replace, actually, you know what, I am going to replace, and right now, I think these slabs and stone bricks and stone brick fences or walls are going to look better than what we have there. Let's just check. Okay, so stone brick, some slabs, and stone brick walls. Yeah, I think that looks a little nicer. And one advantage here is, so this fire would theoretically be able to spread. Oh goodness, I believe fire can spread primarily above it. So if the fire is in that block and we look above it, we can see there is in fact wood. But this wood is already warded because the blood magic things are right up there. So we are actually going to be completely safe. We're not going to burn anything down. Always a plus. Let's light this on fire. There we go. Now, there is another practical consideration for this, in that we need to provide it with water. To do that, we are going to need a fluid export bus facing it. And wouldn't you know it, that's going to mess up this window, isn't it? Because I can easily take a cover yeah. I can place a cover here, but I can't place one here unless I replace these panes with covers. Oof, what a hassle. The one problem I have with the extra cells mod is that, as far as I know, and let's double check this, it does not allow you to cover it like Applied Energistics does, or like other mods would. You can't use facades, you can't use covers, which is too bad. Okay. But we may be able to work around this. Let's check. If we break this, we can theoretically put glass covers there, and then we should be able to, nope, not like that. Yeah. Place that cover there. It's not quite what I might want. And we'll still be able to see that it's hollow from this side. Ugh, such a hassle. As you can see, there really isn't any other way. There's no other direction we can put that. So I suppose that's how it's going to be. And of course the kettle is 100% space filling, so we'll have to go back in to tell the whole thing that it needs to export water. So let's get our water bucket. Awesome. Break this for now. Come here and say add water to the kettle. Okay. Actually, if I get really annoyed at this, what I could do is put I could sneakily use some Ender IO conduits to get the water in there. I could put a fluid interface below ground here and then use a conduit. I may do that, but I'm not going to bother spending the time at the moment. I'll do that off camera if I decide that I can't stand the look of this, which, let's be fair, who could? I'm also not certain if it's working. So, anyway, the next thing I want to put in is actually an ME terminal. And, well, no, okay, we'll put the ME terminal in last. The next thing we'll want is a distillery. This is kind of the next block after the witch's oven, normally. It's going to help us continue to progress through the mod. It's really like the next step. So if there's a gap of 3 there, and we put a gap of 3 here, how does that look? Looks a little much. So what we're actually going to do is make it a gap of 1. And then the last item that we are going to need here is the spinning wheel. And I don't like the way that oriented, so I'll place it from this direction. Awesome. Okay. So given the way this looks, then we're going to want our ME interface over here, or terminal, that is. And then we'll need one more cover, which of course we don't have. Okay, I'll do that later. I just want to cover the backside of this. Okay, awesome. That looks pretty good. Now there are a couple more things we need to do though to automate this well, or automate this to my liking. First thing is that from each of these devices, I want to be able to automatically import whatever it makes. Oops. So if we break this, and this, and this, we can... Okay. That was actually the wrong places for some of this. I'll get it right. Okay. So this is actually where I want that to happen. Okay, and we will need the conduits back. Okay. So we want this, and then we want that there. Okay. And this here. Great. Okay. So if we put a precision import bus there, there, and there, now any product of those blocks is going to be input. And because those precision import buses are actually vanilla applied energistics and not extra cells, we can cover them up very easily with facades. Of course, the only thing we have to do is break the blocks because the witchery blocks are 100% space filling. Okay, so I will, break this and this. Good, good. And then we can add our facade and our facade. Okay, cool. I have a real problem, by the way, with blocks that appear to not fill the whole space. So we can see the grass below it, for example, but we can't click past it. Vanilla hoppers are the same way, and I just can't stand it. Okay, so the other thing we are going to want in both the distillery and the witch's oven is a way to import clay bottles. Or, yeah, export clay bottles into the machines. And in fact, for this witch's oven, we will want it to also export coal. So if we do that, let's see, I don't know what the sidedness of these devices is, so we will test now and see whether this works. So if we get a clay jar, and we get some coal. Let's see what happens if we tell this to export stacks of coal and clay jars. Awesome. I love machines. Okay, just talking about machines I don't like. I do like it when a machine has intelligent inputs. So you can input into whatever side you want, and it will put that input into the proper place. I think that's great. Okay, so now we should be basically ready to roll. Of course, I just tossed all of my dirt in there. I'll clean some of these things up off camera. But there's one more device that I want to show you. I guess we could call it a device, and that is the altar. The altar is basically what gives power in witchery. So this altar, and in fact every altar, has a capacity based upon the amount of plant life around it. There isn't actually very much, although, there is a tree or two. And so this altar has about 1,000 capacity. We're going to want it to have at least 10,000. Now there are a few ways to do it. First, we'll have to plant some more plants around here. That's the first solution. Second, we can add things to the altar that will increase its properties. So one of the things we can add is a candelabra. One is a chalice, and one is a skull. So you can see now we're getting 5 times as much for each piece of plant life, bringing us up past 4,000. We can actually upgrade our chalice at some point using the kettle. And when we do, we will be able to... I'm not sure what upgrading the chalice does. It could either increase the regeneration rate for the essence, or it could increase our maximum. I don't remember. The other item we can put here is called an arthana. And the arthana increases the range of this altar. So these blocks over here, specifically the spinning wheel, the distillery, and sometimes the kettle, require that essence to function. So what we can see there is that little circle with an X through it is gone now, which means the distillery is now getting enough power to run. Same thing with the spinning wheel. It gets all the power it needs. And the kettle doesn't have an interface, but should also be within range. This will also power our circle magic, which is what we have these circles here for. Okay, let me clean some stuff up, close up these holes in the ground, and probably change that, and get the things together that we will need to make our next progress on this mod. And then I'll be right back. Okay, guys, what do you think? I like it. It's so verdant, I suppose is the word. A lot of plants and a tiny forest that I planted out back, all to increase the altar power. And given that, our altar power is now 7,940. I looked it up, actually. The number that we need to hit, that magic number, is actually 8,000. So we are very nearly there. I think when our vines and Spanish moss grow a little bit more, we could very well hit that. So, while that's happening, I think the next step is to get down our circles. To do that, I have been using the distillery. let me show you how this works. So if we take, for example, if we want to make diamond vapor, we need oil of vitriol and a diamond. So I happen to have some oil of vitriol, and I happen to have some diamonds. So what we can do is add that, and that, and because we have essence in our altar, it will slowly make whatever it can. So that particular recipe is going to make 2 diamond vapor and an odor of purity. And the diamond vapor we can then further refine with gas tears and get reek of misfortune and refined evil, which we will certainly have to do. We'll probably also need some of this ender dew. Oh, and an alternate way to get reek of misfortune. Ultimately, we're going to need to get a demon heart or 2, but to do that, there's a bit more work yet. Okay, so here's the recipe for the ritual chalk. These tears of the goddess are made in the distillery. Actually, the gypsum is as well. And so I have a white ritual chalk, but we will need other types as well. First of all, you'll always need gold ritual chalk. We will also want some infernal chalk. But it appears for that we need a little bit more rose red. So, yoink. And then we can make our infernal chalk. Okay, I've looked through and I've decided that these are the colors we're going to want. Actually, one more thing though that we are going to want to do is ward this area. One of the things we are going to use this circle for is summoning demons and other things. If we do that, we very much want them not to explode everything. So having these warded blocks around is going to prevent them from destroying any of these blocks. I think, though I'm not sure, that this will also prevent spreading flowers and other plants from growing here. So, for example, that glintweed could have just spread into the circle, and if it did, it could have interfered with certain of the rituals we are going to be doing. So, by warding this, we may very well be preventing that. And so we will ward everything within the circles because I like to have thrilling YouTube content like this whenever possible. Sorry about that. I just entirely forgot to do it until now. But I want to do this before we lay down the runes because we will not be able to ward these blocks under the runes. So if you get what I'm saying, once the runes are placed down, we won't have access to all these blocks. So we have to do it now. And we are almost done. Yeah, so there are 3 different sizes of circle, as you can probably tell. And I've laid down all of the sizes. In the center of your circles, you always need a golden rune. Other than that, you can make the rest of your circles with any of the three types of chalk: the white ritual chalk, the purple otherware chalk, and the red infernal chalk. Now, upon looking into what it is we are going to want to use these circles for, I found that for the inner two circles, we are almost always going to want white. Most rituals that involve the inner two circles use the white chalk. When we eventually summon a demon, however, we are going to need a large red circle. So this outer circle is going to be the red chalk. Because summoning a demon is one of the things we are going to do relatively soon. Demon hearts are actually critical for progression in witchery. So we will need to summon and kill a demon, which is always fun. Okay, so we can put our chalk away now. And let's think what we might want to do next. What other items from the mod are we lacking that we want? Okay, one of the things we're going to want is to fill our chalice with redstone soup. So the only thing we're missing for that is Drop of Luck. And that's going to require some of that refined evil, which we get by distilling diamond vapor and a gas tier. So why don't we do this? We get diamond vapor. Let's get 5 of them. And gas tiers. Huh, perfect. Unfortunately, you can't shift-click into the distillery, but that's okay. Okay, we'll get those refining while we collect the other things we're going to need. First of all, actually, what I want is an armor stand. Because we are going to make some witchery armor. I think. Let's see if we can. The armor we are interested in is a witch's hat. And for that we need golden thread, which is hay, plus a whiff of magic. Okay, we've got some whiff of magic. Okay, let's just double check. What do these need? Whew, just a bunch of that. Okay. So, we have, that's okay, so we just need a little bit of this. So if we look for wheat, we can then make a hay bale and get this spinning. So, oh, you can shift-click into a spinning wheel. How surprising. So that is going to spin into those golden threads we'll need. The other thing we'll want to do is make some of the impregnated leather that we will need. Bam. And we'll need to make 2 more batches of this. 1, 2. Okay. This is not something we'll be able to make just yet, so necromancy is another branch of witchery that we are not going to get into quite yet. The other thing that we could do is make the icy slippers, but those don't help us at all. Yeah, I don't think any of these slippers are going to help us. So, if our thread is done, which it seems it is, we can now make some witch's robes and a witch's hat. Awesome, and we apparently had one creeper heart. That's just a very rare drop from creepers added by witchery. Oops. Oh, come on. I decided I don't like where that's placed. So, let's move it. I think it would actually look pretty nice here against this wall. We've got a nice little closet to change in. So, we can put on those witches' items. And we get to keep our pants and shoes. How nice. Double check there are not witches' pants. Okay, we're good. So, okay, and we should do this quickly. We are running out of time in the episode. The reason I got those is because they're going to increase the chance to get extra brews. And extra brews are great because you get more for less. So we'll need redstone, tongue of dog, drop of luck. And the drop of luck will require some Mutantis Extremis. If I can find... okay. There we go. It's not really... we've already made Mutantis. Mutantis Extremis is not any more difficult to get, really. You just need nether wart. So... no, I picked the wrong one. Okay. Redstone soup. Drop of luck. Okay, the only other thing we're going to need is some water bottles. Okay. So, now I've got 3 water bottles. So, what we can do is make ourselves a drop of luck. Okay, so we want redstone, tongue of dog, drop of luck, belladonna, wool of bat. And one more thing, mandrake. Okay, so it's important we add these in the correct order, or it will not work. Let's see what we can do. So here's our kettle. Let's test to see whether it's actually full, which it is. That's good. It was just a visual bug that showed it wasn't full. So then we can add our tongue of dog, drop of luck, belladonna, wool of bat, and mandrake root. So at this point the potion is complete. We right-click with an empty bottle and got our redstone soup. Unfortunately, even though we were wearing our hat and witch's robes, we did not get any... Oh, of course. Okay. Really? Everything did that? Okay. Let's fix what we can. This is a magnum torch that's placed here just so that we don't get crazy stuff spawning. Put the altar back. Okay. So the altar has to refill. Now what we can do is take the chalice, put some redstone soup in it, and now we have a filled chalice, which is even better. Okay, I am going to break and replace all the items on this just in case, because it looks like we have a lot less altar power. Ugh. Okay, there we go. So, now we've got our altar. Let's actually remake the altar. Bam, altar. Now we can put all our items on it. Candelabra. That increases it to 3x. Wither Skull increases it to 5x. And the chalice, it still says 5x there, but now the max capacity is almost 10,000. And it appears that it is filling much faster. And then the Arthana, which makes sure that it's got an increased range and can reach all our machines here. Awesome. Okay, well, I think we've made some good progress on witchery. Next time we will continue. I am really digging the witchery. I really like the mod. I like the flavor of it. I like the mechanics of it. I don't really plan necessarily to use it a lot against other people. I don't know how fun that is for anyone, but I like doing it, I like progressing, and I like being able to use it against people if I do decide to. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll see you next time.